Hey everyone, good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Bami, founder of Inspired to Soul Limited. Welcome, welcome. For those of you who are joining me for the first time, welcome to the Inspired to Soul page. And if you're a returning guest, welcome again. And thank you for joining, thank you for your responses, thank you for your comments, and thank you for joining along with me on this audacious month. So I labeled August the audacious month, and you might be wondering, why did I do that? First, let me talk about myself. Let me tell you about what I do more. My name is Bami, as I've said, and I'm the founder of Inspired to Soul Limited. Oh, good morning, Tanya. Thank you for joining me. Now, what my passion and my mission is to tend the broken wings of your dreams so that you can be inspired to soar above your troubles. What that means is my passion is to help you find a life of fulfillment and a life of thriving in the aftermath of the challenges and the troubles of life. So why did I decide to label August my audacious month? You see, as someone who has spent most of her adult life, or virtually most of her life, i.e. me, in settling for safe, settling for the secure, settling for the comfortable, I knew at different points in my life that unless I ditch the safe, unless I ditch the mundane, I will never reach the heights of fulfillment that I desire. And so this morning I want to talk about stepping out, moving beyond the shallows. Okay. Now, where did all that come from? I was listening to a song this morning on my morning walk in the rain. I'm so sorry about that. The connection went for just a short while. Now, as I was saying, in my morning walk in the rain this morning, I was listening to a song about not settling, and not wading in the shallows. And the thing is, because I've been thinking about jumping in the deep end this month, that this audacious month, that I'm going to be bolder, I'm going to take more risks, I'm going to be even more vulnerable than I've ever been with you guys before. So I started thinking about it, and I started thinking about some of the reasons. What are some of the reasons why majority of the population sits in the shallows, wades in the shallows? And even though a lot of people, they desire to go into the deep end, they watch others going in the deep, jumping in the deep and all of those things. They watch with almost like envy or with admiration, and yet they stay in the shallows. Now, I can only speak for myself, but I dare say that this holds true for a lot of people. As I was walking this morning, I decided to reflect deeply about why for most of my life, why until like a couple of years ago, I just settled. I settled for safe. I settled for security. I settled for the comfort zone. I didn't, if I would try to do anything and there was a pushback, I'll just go back into my shell. And this applied in so many areas of my life. And then I was wondering, where did it all start? Why did I choose to live that way? Because after all, I'm not your normal shy person or shrinking violet. That's a word that can never be used to apply to that can never be applied to me. And yet I settled for safe, and yet I just kept dipping my toes in the shallows and not going any further. And then I realized that it's a defense mechanism, for want of a better word, a defense mechanism to early insecurities. I would like to say that I discovered this by myself, but the truth of the matter was no, because I'd got so used to masking, I'd got so used to covering up my settling for safe, my settling, waddling in the shallows, that had perfected the art and looked like, oh, I've got it all together. Now, how many of you can relate? If you can relate to settling for the shallows, looking ahead of you at the deep and yet not going there, if you can relate, I want you to type the word shallows in the comments, and I'll tell you the reason why I ask you to do these things. The reason why I asked you to type in the word shallows is because whatever you don't acknowledge, you can never confront. And that's the thing with a lot of things in our lives. We get so used to being comfortable, we get so used to the quote and unquote the trappings of security, and we don't want to rock the boat. We don't want to upset our own status quo, for want of a better word. But when you and I start acknowledging certain things, that okay, you know what, this is where the issues are, this is where we need to improve, this is where we need to make progress, then we can start looking to address it. So in my case, like I told you, I didn't come to that realization myself. It took my psychologist that I saw last year after my family loss. It took my psychologist a few sessions to peel through the layers, to peel through the cover-up I'd used for settling in so many areas of my life. And you know what? And I realized what the root was. And the root was from the lack of security as a child. And from that point, from the point of lacking security as a child, and then I grew into adulthood, and as soon as I had the opportunity to be by to control my own fate, for want of a better word, I prided myself on control. So I wanted to be in control. I wanted security. I wanted safe. And that was how things proceeded. So I'm sure that if you take time to look at a time in your life, to look at why you are settling for safe, why you're just paddling in the shallows, when you really, really desperately want to go in the deep. If you take the time to figure out the where and the when it started from, then you can begin to address. You can begin to address it by taking small, bold steps. Imperfect steps, yes, but start anyway. Start from where you are today. There is no use saying that, oh, I'm in my 50s, I'm in my 40s, I'm in my 60s, all my friends have done this, or I thought I would have done this by now. There is no use looking at the impediments, looking at age as an impediment, looking at, oh, thanks for joining me, looking at age as an impediment, looking at your circumstances as an impediment. Because here is the thing, with regards to staying in the shallows, you will always find the excuses. You will always find if you look enough, you will always find the justification for settling for safe. You will always find the justification for not pushing yourself, for not taking bold risks. And because this is the month, this is the audacious month. Being audacious means you take bold and risky steps. You push through without thinking about the safety net, because that's the thing about shallows. That's the thing about settling for the safe, the secure. It's because we are always looking for the security blanket, the assurances. Okay, so maybe, for example, maybe you are in a job that you don't like. I'm just saying, maybe you're in a job that you don't like, but it brings in regular income. It feeds your family, it meets your needs, and it's safe. And there isn't any chance of losing the job or anything like that. Trust me, I know what that's like. I stayed in a job like that for 17 years. And what happens when you settle? What happens when you settle for the shallows? When deep down, when you know that you really, really want to go, you want to push yourself. It stifles your creativity. If you're watching this and you're thinking, I don't think I'm a creative, blah, 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 and everything. Everybody, every human being is a creative, because I believe that we are made in the image and likeness of God. Even if you don't believe that, I do. Okay? I believe that every human being is unique, made in the image and likeness of God, and because God is creative, we are created to be creatives. So, when you settle for safe, you dampen down on your creativity, you dampen down on your on the wonderful things that you could be doing. Okay, fine. I'm not saying that the shallows does not have things to commend for it. Oh yeah. When you at the start of any venture, of course, you want to start slowly. You want to start with small steps and everything like that. But my bone of contention this morning is when you sit in the shallows for years, for months, for years, and it becomes the place where you live. It becomes your permanent dwelling place. It becomes what people know you for. I want to push back and I want to challenge you. You were not created to settle. You were not created for the shallows. You were made to push, to push, to push. And the thing is, like, even if you're settling at this point in time, look back at a point in your life when you pushed through, when you pushed beyond the comfortable, when you pushed beyond the convenient. Even if the results didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, I'm sure there were lessons that you learned. There were things that you learned about yourself. How bold you can be. How courageous you can be, and you are. And how much you have on the inside of you. The unexplored depths. The beauty, the creativity, the strength. And all of the wonderful qualities that make you the unique person that you are. So, in this audacious month, as we head into the weekend, I want to challenge you. Move beyond the shallows. It's time to stop paddling and just dipping your toes for a few seconds, for just a short while. It is time to push beyond. It is time to take the wobbly, the imperfect steps forward. Move beyond it. What is the one? And Rome was not built in a day, so be patient with yourself. Give yourself kindness. Give yourself the gift of kindness, and don't be too hard on yourself. But whatever you do, don't you dare stay stuck. Don't you dare settle. Don't you dare give up. Excuse me. Don't you dare give up. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. One step at a time. Maybe you can maybe you see that you've settled for the secured, for the shallows in a few areas of your life. Why don't you this weekend decide, or even today, starting from today, why don't you decide that you will take one area of your life and you will start with an audacious step. You will start with a bold step. Because when the truth of the matter is, like, when we start taking audacious steps, when we start taking bold and risky steps, trust me, the butterflies will come in. It will be frightening, it will be scary, and all of those things. But do it anyway. Do it anyway. Push through anyway. And your future self will be thanking you. Because I remember when I decided that, okay, I wouldn't let the rejections of the past stop me from pushing through and achieving my goal of publishing my book. Because I'd had rejections, I'd had, there's no market for your book, and all of those things. But you know what? There was a time when I went through a phase when I put everything on hold. And I was frustrated, I was miserable. And then when the opportunity came for me to jump in the deep end and sign in with my publisher, Author Academy Elite. The truth of the matter is, like, it was a risky move. It was a scary move. But I knew that, okay, you know what? It was time. It was time to stop talking about, oh yes, I've got an unfinished, I've got a first draft manuscript. Oh, I can write this, I can write that. And once I started pushing through that, there were so many obstacles. There were so many things that happened on the journey that I was so tempted to scramble again and go back into my shell and go back to where I know, the safe place that I know. But I knew the book will not see the light of day if I didn't if I didn't push, if I didn't go beyond. Was it scary? Oh yes, it was. Because for me, the book I ended up writing first, Navigating Your New Normal, it involved me being vulnerable, being more vulnerable than I ever expected. That to the point where I know that in different parts of the world now, there will be people who will know about the things I wanted to keep hidden, the things I didn't want anybody to know about me. But here's the thing, I'm still in one piece. Not only am I in one piece, I am thriving, because publishing my book has opened doors to me, that would not otherwise have opened to me. Now, here's the book. It's titled Navigating Your New Normal, a roadmap for life fulfillment after trauma. In the comments, you will see the Amazon link. Check it out and get yourself a copy. If you've already got a copy, why not buy it for somebody you know who needs it, somebody who's struggling with the aftermath of trauma, somebody who's struggling to find a life of, somebody who's just struggling to move beyond the motions, to go beyond the motions in the aftermath of their challenges. Now, that for me, every time I look at this book that I've published now and everything, it encourages me. It encourages me, it inspires me, and it challenges me to push beyond. Whenever I find myself settling for safe, settling for the convenient, or not wanting to push through obstacles, I remember that I have done it once. I have not just once, but so many times, and I can do it again. But the choice, I decide whether I want to make that choice. So I want to leave the ball in your court this morning. Are you going to settle for safe, or are you going to push through and get into the deep waters, which is where you want to go with your dream, with your passion, with any area of your life in which you are, well, you're dissatisfied, or you just know that you can do so much more. Because contentment is a good thing, but it's not something that you should become so married to that you cannot then take any risks, that you cannot push for growth. Yes, it's good to be content, and it's good to be grateful for where you are. And the truth of the matter is, like, contentment is a really good thing. But don't mistake contentment for settling. There are two different things. Contentment means that, okay, yes, contentment and gratitude. You're grateful for where you're at now, but you know that it's not your final destination. Don't make what is supposed to be a bus stop a permanent destination for your life. I'll say that again. Do not make what is supposed to be a bus stop in your life, don't make it your permanent destination. Because for everybody, every single one of us, our standards are different. We've been called to do different things. So just because the place where you are, which is, for yourself, is a bus stop for you, others have built castles around it. They've built mansions around it. They've thrived on it and everything. Just because it works for some other people, that doesn't mean it will work for you. Only you will be able to know. And this is the time when I will say to yourself, to thine own self, be true. Because it is your life at the end of the day. Don't use the yardstick of maybe like the generations before. Maybe this is something that's been done in your family and people have done it successfully. Maybe this is something that your peers have done. Don't use other people's measures as your yardstick for where you are meant to be. Don't settle. Don't settle for the shallows. The deep is waiting for you. Is it scary? Yes. Can you do it? Oh yes, you can. Because at some point in the past, you would have taken a bold step. Because for some of you, even watching this video and sitting with it for this long, it's a bold move for your in itself, because there are a lot of people who might not necessarily want to hear that they need to push, who might not necessarily want to be pushed. And for you, watching this, listening to this, might be your first bold step, might be your first audacious step. But don't let it remain here. Don't let it stop here. I want to hear about your progress. I want to hear about how you're moving things on. So I also want to encourage you, when you've finished watching this video, if you can please write down one thing, one area of your life in which you're going to stop settling in. You're going to just move beyond the shallows, and you're going to move slowly but surely into the deep. It will be the best thing you ever did. And I want to encourage you, I want to challenge you, I want to inspire you on that journey. So for more inspiring videos, head over to the YouTube. Oh, good morning. Head over to the YouTube channel, to the Inspire to Sow YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Please subscribe so that when new videos are available, you'll be notified of them. And be kind. If you found this useful, if you found this helpful, if you found this video inspiring, share it and share it. Share it on your page, share it with your friends. Let them know that no matter how fantastic your life is right now, there are still territories to take. There are still deeper depths that you can go to. But you have to stop settling. You have to stop sticking in the shallows. And I'll repeat that statement that I made earlier on before. Don't make a place that is meant to be a temporary bus stop for you. Don't make it a permanent destination. Until the next time, be inspired to sow. Have a wonderful weekend, and this weekend, don't settle for the shallows. Move beyond the shallows, and your future self will be mega grateful. Take care. Thanks for joining me, all of you. Have a good day. Bye.